Earlier this month, we got a PS5 Slim. And even though this wasn't the first time the PS5 got a new revision, in fact, we actually had 2 more revisions before it that brought the weight down and switched to a more efficient chip, the PS5 Slim is the biggest change that the PS5 has so far received. Not only is the Slim significantly smaller and lighter than the original PS5, but it now comes with a separate disk drive. However, there is another PS5 that is in the works, and that is the PS5 Pro. And unlike the Slim, which didn't really bring any performance improvements, the PS5 Pro is rumored to be a gigantic leap. So here's a comprehensive video of every single thing that we know. Also, since we've now released our final 2 November packs for Wallpapers, we now have 26 packs and 260 outstanding wallpapers in total, with 2 new packs launching each week. You can check all designs out in Wallpapers on iOS and Android today. Okay, so I want to start off with probably the most important thing, which is how do we know that a PS5 Pro is even happening? Well, we know that it's real, as back in May, Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming released this huge report on everything that Sony was working on next. And in that report, he of course mentioned the PS5 Pro alongside a few other things, such as the detachable disc version of the PS5, a handheld gaming console, PlayStation branded earbuds, and a new Pulse headset as well. And all of them actually ended up happening, aside from the PS5 Pro. And the reason why it hasn't happened yet is because he predicted a 2024 release for it. So based on this, we know that whatever sources Tom had, they were definitely trustworthy, and therefore the PS5 Pro is almost certain to happen. Now, the release date, according to Tom's report, like I said, will be Q4 2024, but this time frame does actually make a lot of sense. You see, the PS4 Pro launched in 2016, 3 years and 7 months after the introduction of the PS4, which means that if the PS5 launches in October of 2024, this would be 3 years and 11 months since the PS5 came out. So the time frame would be very similar. But okay, what sort of performance improvements are we gonna see here? Well, the most up-to-date info comes from Red Gaming Tech, who's considered a trusted source when it comes to PlayStation leaks. And according to his sources, the CPU would still be an AMD Ryzen Zen 2 chip and not Zen 4 like some of the other earlier leaks suggested, but the clock speed would be bumped to 4 GHz from 3.5. Now, this doesn't seem like a big upgrade, but I personally believe that this won't just be an overclocked PS5 chip, but rather an entirely new chip, even if it ends up being based on that same older Zen 2 architecture. When it comes to the GPU, this is where we are set to be getting some gigantic upgrades. So we're set to be getting RDNA 3 graphics from RDNA 2, which is already a substantial change in itself. But on top of this, the number of compute units are set to be increasing from 36 to 60. And they're all set to be running at a much higher clock speed of 2.8 GHz as opposed to the current 2.3. And that is a huge performance upgrade, which combined with the increased memory bandwidth of 587 GB per second from 448 will result in as much as a 23 teraflop overall GPU compute power, which would actually make the PS5 Pro more than twice as powerful as the PS5, which only had 10.3 teraflops. And before we move on to the next big PS5 Pro change, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor NordPass. Every business needs secured passwords to keep their data safe. In fact, 80% of hacking incidents are caused by stolen and reused login information. Staying protected is difficult, especially if you have no system in place to keep your passwords organized. NordPass helps me by creating a platform where all of my business account information is encrypted, but also instantly accessible, so that I can quickly find what I need, from office alarm codes to the full Adobe Suite logins and everything in between. Get a 3-month business trial by using code ZOT at nordpass.com/ZOT. And now, back to the video. Now, of course, numbers are one thing and results are a completely different thing. So what sort of actual gaming improvement should we expect to see here? Well, on the PS5 right now, a lot of the AAA titles offer at least 2 graphical modes, quality and performance. Quality usually renders in native 4K with ray tracing, but limits the frame rate to 30. While performance uses a dynamic resolution that is lower, and usually without ray tracing, but ups the frame rate to 60. That extra performance of the PS5 Pro should allow us to have native 4K games with ray tracing, something that just is not doable right now in AAA titles on the PS5. And to help with all of this will likely be a brand new ray tracing engine. This is coming from a patent that Sony has filed for in 2022, where Mark Cerny, the PS5's lead architect, is named, and he details a system for accelerated ray tracing. So essentially this confirms that Sony is indeed working on a brand new ray tracing engine that would bring a significant boost, which combined with the already major GPU improvements, should indeed allow for 4K 60 ray tracing graphics. Now, in terms of what games would take advantage of the PS5 Pro's performance first, one of the rumored titles is the upcoming Final Fantasy game. And GTA 6 is also said to be one of the launch titles. And considering that GTA 6 is indeed rumored to launch in 2024, this will coincide perfectly with the launch of the PS5 Pro. Not only that, but we know that Microsoft is not planning on releasing a Pro version of the Xbox Series X. They will release a new version of it, but this will simply come with a brand new design, more storage, and a smaller form factor, rather than extra performance. Which means that Sony could have this gigantic marketing campaign for GTA 6 claiming that the PS5 Pro will be the best place to play it on when it comes to consoles. Also, Tom Henderson has reported that PS5 Pro dev kits have already been sent to developers, which means that Rockstar would have about 1 year, or maybe even more, to get their PS5 version of GTA 6 optimized for the PS5 Pro. Now, aside from all of these performance improvements, we are likely going to see some design changes as well. The PS4 Pro was essentially a sandwiched version of the PS4. The PS5 Slim was a smaller version of the original PS5, so it makes a lot of sense for the PS5 Pro to be similar to the original PS5 in size, but with a new design that still uses the same design language as the PS5 and the PS5 Slim. We've made a concept to showcase this that you've been seeing throughout this video in collaboration with Concept Creator. And essentially the design itself is a fresh take on the original PS5's body. The front now has these symmetrical plates that are angled in opposite directions, with a stunning LED strip underneath each front plate. We've also got 2 USB-C ports on the front, just like the PS5 Slim, as opposed to 1 USB-C and 1 USB-A, with all the same great ports on the back. On the sides, we have the updated split plates, just like the PS5 Slim, and yes, just like the Slim, it is very likely that the PS5 Pro will also offer an optional disc version. So here are both versions side by side. Well, technically it's just one version, but one with a disc attached and one without it. And what's really cool about these new plates approach is that Sony could also sell individual plates, which would allow you to mix and match the colors in order to achieve some stunning combinations, like blue and white, purple and red, black and camo, and many more. So, okay, aside from the performance improvements and the new design, are there any other changes that we expect to see here? Well, Red Tech Gaming reported on a dual Tempest engine that will definitely have an improvement on the audio quality. But I also believe that Sony will be adding internal link support with the PS5 Pro. Link is a new audio standard that Sony brought to the PlayStation Portal, and their new wireless earbuds and headsets that allows for wireless lossless audio. If you want to use these earbuds with a PS5, you currently need a dongle, but with a PS5 Pro, I don't think you will anymore. Aside from this, the storage is also likely to get bumped. Currently we have 1 TB on the PS5 Slim, which is a decent bump from 825, but being a Pro model, I do think that this will come with more storage, so 1.5 or 2 TB, that would be my guess. Some leaks suggested 1.65. And aside from this, the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth standards are also likely to be getting bumped to Wi-Fi 6E or even Wi-Fi 7, and then Bluetooth 5.3 from the current Bluetooth 5.1. When it comes to the price, the PS4 Pro was priced at $400, which was the exact same price as the original PS4 launched at. The PS4 Slim launched alongside the PS4 Pro and saw a price cut of $100, but then the PS5 Slim launched at $450 and $500 if you bundle it with a disk drive. So the digital version of the PS5 Slim is now $50 more than it was at launch, which means that a PS5 Pro would cost even more. Some rumors are saying $600, but personally, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up costing $700, which may seem like a lot of money until you remember that your smartphone that you replace every 2 years or so was likely much more than that. So I think that even at $700, the PS5 Pro will still be worth it. But let me know, what do you guys think? And do subscribe for more PS5 updates. I'm Daniel, this is ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH signing out. Cheers.